I said this in a longer video, but I'm going to try to condense it now. I'm going through chapter John, and I'm in chapter 9 right now. Chapter 9, end of chapter 9, which is verse 40. Some of the Pharisees near to him heard these things and said to him, "Are we also blind?" Jesus said to them, "If you were blind, you would have no guilt. But now that you say, 'We see,' your guilt remains." Recently, go to Bev Inc.'s Sin and Salvation in Christ. I read the section on guilt. Now, sin, guilt, and punishment are connected. They flow from each other. They're like the trinity of sin. Sin, guilt, and punishment. Sin begets guilt. Guilt begets punishment. They're always interconnected. They always go from each other. They come as a package. Sin, guilt, punishment. Jesus says, if you were blind, you would have no guilt. If you're blind and you're living in the depravity of your flesh, you have no guilt over your sin. But you are not blind. You see, so you have that guilt over your sin. And guilt is the culpability of punishment, the knowledge that you deserve punishment because you have guilt over your sin. That's what guilt is. Sin begets guilt, and guilt begets punishment. But Jesus took this punishment from us. And so when we have that guilt, we know we are in Christ. He's like, you wouldn't have this guilt if you were blind, but you see and you have guilt over your sin. We have the spirit of conviction over our sin. But that spirit of conviction brings us to joy, we do have the guilt. And that guilt is, the spirit of conviction of guilt is meant to turn us to Christ, not to turn us into self-condemnation. Romans 8:1. There's therefore now no condemnation for those in Christ. But how we know we are in Christ is because we have that guilt, because we're not blind. He says, if you were blind, you would have no guilt. But we're not blind. We see and we have guilt over that. And yeah,